We live in a world engineered to make you feel behind. Every feed shows you someone else's highlight, timed perfectly to land the moment you're struggling with your own unremarkable middle. So you check your progress obsessively, find it lacking against a comparison that was never fair to begin with, and quietly conclude that something is wrong with your pace, when nothing is wrong except the expectation you were handed by a world addicted to speed. Here's what almost nobody says plainly: the things most worth having were never designed to arrive quickly, and rushing them doesn't make them arrive faster, it just makes you miserable for the entire time you're building them. A body that's actually strong. A skill that's actually valuable. A relationship that's actually trustworthy. Money that's actually stable. None of it was ever available on a fast timeline, no matter how badly the world around you insists it should be. Let's talk about why patience feels so unnaturally hard right now, because it's not a personal failing, it's an environment problem. You can order food and have it arrive in 20 minutes. You can watch any show instantly. You can get a response to a message in seconds. Every system around you has been optimized, on purpose, to compress the gap between wanting something and getting it. And then you try to apply that same expectation to a body, a career, a skill, a relationship, none of which were ever built to move at that speed, and you experience the gap as failure, when it's actually just reality operating at its normal pace while you were expecting the pace of a delivery app. This creates a dangerous pattern. Impatience makes people quit right before the results were about to compound, and it makes people chase the next shiny alternative the moment the current one starts feeling slow, which means they perpetually restart, at the beginning, forever, without ever reaching the part of any pursuit where the real results actually live. The grass isn't greener on the other pursuit. It's just earlier in that pursuit's timeline, which always looks easier from a distance, because you haven't hit its hard part yet either. Here's the distinction that changes how this feels: patience is not passivity. Patience is not sitting around waiting for things to happen to you. Real patience is taking consistent action while accepting that the results of that action are on a timeline you don't fully control and can't force. That's an enormous difference. Passive waiting produces nothing. Patient action produces a slow, steady accumulation that eventually looks, from the outside, like it happened overnight, even though it very obviously didn't, to the person who lived through building it. Think about anything you've ever actually mastered, even something small: riding a bike, learning to cook a dish properly, getting good at a sport. In the moment, the plateau in the middle felt endless. From here, looking back, the timeline seems almost quick, almost inevitable. That's not because it actually was quick. It's because completed timelines always compress in memory, and unfinished ones always stretch, which is exactly why the thing you're working on right now feels like it's taking forever, while the thing you already finished doesn't. Here's a reframe worth carrying with you: instead of asking, "Why is this taking so long?" ask, "What would this look like if I expected it to take 3 years, and I was completely fine with that?" That single question changes your entire relationship with the process. You stop panicking on the slow days, because slow was always priced in. You stop abandoning things at month 2, because you were never expecting results at month 2 to begin with. Patience, structured this way, isn't about lowering your ambition, it's about extending your time horizon to match reality instead of fighting it. There's a specific trap worth naming directly: comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 30. What you're seeing from other people is almost always a finished or nearly finished result, stripped of the boring, uncertain, often embarrassing middle they had to live through to get there. You are comparing your rough draft to someone else's final cut, and concluding you're behind, when you're simply earlier in a process whose middle looks unimpressive for absolutely everyone who's ever gone through it. Practically, this means building a relationship with the boring middle instead of treating it as a problem to escape. The boring middle is not a sign you're on the wrong path. It's the actual price of the outcome, paid in installments that don't feel rewarding in the moment they're being paid. Everyone who reached the outcome you admire paid that exact same boring price. The only difference is they kept paying it after it stopped feeling exciting, which is usually somewhere around week 3 or 4. So the next time you feel behind, ask yourself honestly, behind what timeline, exactly, and who gave you that timeline? Because it likely wasn't reality. It was a feed, a comparison, an expectation borrowed from a world built to make patience feel like failure. Reality was never in a hurry. It never promised you a fast result, only a fair one, to anyone willing to keep showing up long after the excitement wore off. Slow is not the enemy of the outcome you want. Impatience is. The tortoise was never actually slow. It just refused to stop.